Welcome to another interesting session of chemistry webinar of Telangana State Model Schools. Today we have with us our organic chemistry madam, Mrs. Sridevi Polu, Principal, Telangana State Model School, Pudur, Vikarabad District. Madam, in her continuation of her sessions, today she will present chemical properties of ketones. In the previous session, you have learnt about various properties of aldehydes. In today's session, Madam will be covering the chemical properties of ketones. Good morning, Madam.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Madam, please continue your session.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, the symbol is not seen on the screen, ma'am. Recording symbol.
Yeah, everything is clear, Madam. Please continue.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to the chemistry webinar, children. Myself, Mrs. Sridevi Polu, Principal, TSMS Pudur, Vikarabad District, is privileged to be here and to teach you children during this pandemic. So in continuation of our previous sessions regarding the carbonyl compounds, the compounds which contain the carbonyl group, right? Aldehydes and ketones contain the carbonyl group. Hence, they are collectively called as carbonyl compounds. And today, we are going to learn about the chemical properties of ketones, right? So, and in my previous session, I have dealt with the properties of aldehydes, isn't it? So, I hope you have understood the properties of aldehydes, children. And then there is only one property left, that is the reduction reaction. Okay. So in our previous sessions, we have learned about the properties of aldehydes, and we have seen the elimination reactions of aldehydes, that is where the water molecule is eliminated. Then the reaction with the phenylhydrazine, hydrazine, semicarbazide, 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. Okay, so then we have continued with the oxidation. See, this is the oxidation with selenium dioxide. When aldehydes undergo oxidation with the selenium dioxide, they form glyoxal, means the alpha methylene group is converted into the carbonyl group like this. So this is the aldehyde group. So then oxidation with paracids. So this is called as a Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Aldehydes undergo oxidation in the presence of paracid to give the carboxylic acid. And now let us move to the next reaction. As I told you that there is only one reaction which is left here. See, that is nothing but reduction, children. What is it? Reduction. So let us see the reduction of these aldehydes. Okay, so reduction. Then aldehydes. What is reduction? Addition of hydrogens is called as oxidation, or else we can call it as a removal of oxygen and addition of hydrogen. Aldehydes undergo reduction with lithium aluminum hydride, okay, LiAlH4, and then hydrogen, or else with nickel in the presence of sodium borohydride, okay, or aluminium isopropoxide. Aluminium isopropoxide. So these are all the reducing agents, children, what we use for reduction, right? So reduction. We are going to learn about the reduction of aldehydes. See, this is the last reaction in the aldehydes. Aldehydes. Acetaldehyde, CH3C double bond OH. Acetaldehyde on reduction in the presence of lithium aluminum hydride, a reducing agent. See what happens? I already told you that reduction means addition of hydrogens. So a hydrogen is added to it. So what do you get? You will get an alcohol. What is it? Alcohol. What alcohol? A primary alcohol. What is it? Primary alcohol. So this is ethanol. What is it? Ethanol. Okay. So acetaldehyde on reduction in the presence of lithium aluminum hydride gives primary alcohol, that is ethanol. Okay, I hope you have understood this. So aldehydes undergo reduction and give alcohols. What do they give? Alcohols. So this is ethanol. That is our acetaldehyde. Okay. So now let us see the remaining reduction reactions. I already told you that there are a few name reactions, isn't it? Right? So today we are going to learn about all those name reactions, children. Okay. So let us see the name reactions of these aldehydes which undergo reduction, and what do they give? Let us learn now. The first one is Clemenson's reduction. Clemenson's reduction. Okay. Reduction means addition of hydrogens. Now, what does it give when it is reduced? Right? Let us see. So Clemenson's reduction. Acetaldehyde. Okay. Acetaldehyde undergo reduction means addition of hydrogens in the presence of zinc amalgam. When metals form complex with mercury, it is called as amalgam. What is it? Amalgam. Zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. So what does it give? See, this oxygen is eliminated and hydrogens are added. So you will get an alkane, right? So what is this? Ethane. Okay, Nana? Ethane. You'll get ethane, right? So this is nothing but Clemenson's reduction. What reduction? Clemenson's reduction. So aldehydes on reduction in the presence of zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl gives alkane, that is ethane. What do they give? Ethane, right? So now let us see the next one, that is Wolff-Kishner's reduction. Okay, Wolff-Kishner's reduction. Now what is this Wolff-Kishner's reduction? Let us see. So I think now you are able to understand what is reduction. So reduction means addition of hydrogens, isn't it? Addition of hydrogens. Okay, so here we are going to learn about the reduction reactions of aldehydes, where under the name Clemenson's reduction and Wolff-Kishner's reduction, right? So Wolff-Kishner's reduction, let us see here. Acetaldehyde, okay, undergo reduction, right? In the presence of hydrazine. You have seen this reaction already, children. Hydrazine, what do you get? So this H2O will be eliminated like this. H2O is eliminated, and then you will get acetaldehyde hydrazone, isn't it? So CH, so CH double bond N and H2. Okay, so that's a H2O is eliminated, and then this is again treated with a base. What is that? KOH. Okay, KOH in the presence of ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol. So here also you will get alkane, that is ethane, and nitrogen is evolved. Okay, so again you got ethane here. So in Clemenson's reduction and Wolff-Kishner's reduction, you have to identify that you will get an alkane, that aldehydes are reduced to alkanes in both Clemenson's reduction and in Wolff-Kishner's reduction. Okay, children. So please try to remember this two reduction reactions. Clemenson's reduction is nothing but acetaldehyde when reduced with zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl gives ethane. Whereas in Wolff-Kishner's reduction, acetaldehyde on reduction with hydrazine in the presence of potassium hydroxide and ethylene glycol gives alkanes, that is ethane. As we have taken acetaldehyde, we got ethane, right? See, suppose you just think about this question, right? When you take propanaldehyde, what do you get? Nothing but propane. It just depends upon the number of carbon atoms, right? You have to check out the number of carbon atoms present in the aldehyde, right? As it contains 2 carbons, it is giving an alkane which also have 2 carbons. Okay, So when you take an aldehyde which contains 3 carbon atoms, then what happens? You will get propane. I will give that also. So please note down. So this is the sort of application. Okay. So nothing but an application type of question what I have asked you children. So this is our propanol, that is propanoldehyde. Okay. So suppose when it is reduced with zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl, right? So when you see, whenever you see this hydrogen in the brackets, flower brackets, you have to understand that this is nothing but reduction. So what do you get? You will get propane, CH3, CH2, CH3. Okay. I hope now you got the point, children. So it depends upon the number of carbon atoms. What is it? It depends upon the number of carbon atoms. Okay, children. So now let us move to the next one. Okay. So this is nothing but the polymerization. What is it? Polymerization. What is polymerization? Poly means many. Mer means parts. Simple molecules or individual parts are called as mer. Okay. So polymerization. Now let us see the polymerization of aldehydes. What happens when they undergo polymerization? The phenomenon in which simple molecules, large number of simple molecules combine together to form a giant molecule, large molecule, is called as polymerization. And the compound which is obtained is called as a polymer. The single units are called as monomers, and the large compound which is obtained is called as a polymer. Okay, children? So I hope you have understood this. Okay. Now let us see the reaction here. Okay. So then acetaldehyde undergo polymerization in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, okay, at 30 degrees centigrade, right? At 30 degrees centigrade. So it gives CH3, CHO taken 4 times. So this is nothing but paraldehyde. What is it, Nana? Paraldehyde. Okay, paraldehyde. Now let us see what happens if we take sulfuric acid only, but at different temperature. So acetaldehyde undergo polymerization when treated with concentrated sulfuric acid at 0 degrees centigrade. At 0 degrees centigrade. What does it give? So it gives metaldehyde. What is it? Metaldehyde. Okay, CH3, CHO taken 4 times. Okay, CH3, CHO taken 4 times. Sorry, here it is taken 3 times, children, right? So it is paraldehyde taken thrice and metaldehyde taken 4 times. Okay, so this is our metaldehyde. Hope you have understood the polymerization reactions. Okay, so polymerization, the process of combining simple molecules. See here, simple molecules are combining together. Small molecules are combining together and they form a giant compound, large compound, which is called as polymerization. What is it called as? Polymerization, children. Okay, so hope I think you are able to understand this. One minute, Nana. Okay. So this is nothing but a polymerization reaction. Now let us move to the chemical properties of ketones, children. So today we are going to learn about the chemical properties of ketones. Okay. So chemical properties of ketones. I hope you are all writing down the notes, children. Okay. So again, I'm telling the same thing. By this, you can understand the importance of writing down the notes and practicing organic chemistry. Why? Because it's not so easy to get good marks in organic chemistry, right? So chemical properties of ketones. The first one, addition of sodium bisulfite. As discussed earlier, aldehydes and ketones undergo nucleophilic addition reactions. Addition of sodium bisulfite. What is sodium bisulfite? NaHSO3. NaHSO3. So acetaldehyde, CH3, CH double bond O. Sorry, we are dealing with ketones, isn't it? Yes. CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Acetone reacts with sodium bisulfite, NaHSO3. Okay, Nana? So then what does it forms? It forms an addition product. So what is that addition product? CH3, COH, then this is CH3 and this is SO3Na. What is it? SO3Na, right? So this is nothing but CH3, CH3 and this is SO3Na. Acetone sodium bisulfite. So let me write the name of this. Acetone sodium bisulfite. Acetone sodium bisulfite. Okay, so this is the addition product. Now let us move to the next reaction. Addition of HCN, hydrogen cyanide. Hydrogen cyanide. Okay, now let us see what happens when it reacts with hydrogen cyanide. Acetone will go for another color. CH3, C double bond O, CH3. What is this? Acetone reacts with HCN, hydrogen cyanide, and forms acetone cyanohydrin. See, what is the nucleophilic part? This is the nucleophilic part. What is the electrophilic part? H is the electrophilic part. So what do you get, children? So you will get CH3, C single bond OH. This is a CH3 and this is Cl. So acetone cyanohydrin. What is it? Acetone cyanohydrin. Acetone cyanohydrin. Okay, acetone cyanohydrin. So please try to remember these reactions, children. So the first one is addition of sodium bisulfite and the second one is addition of hydrogen cyanide. So these are the nucleophilic addition reactions. Okay, so the nucleophile is added to the carbon and the electrophile is added to the oxygen. Okay, Nana? So then now let us go with the remaining reactions of this ketones. Okay. So we have dealt with the two reactions up to now, and then let us see the remaining reactions of these ketones. The next one is addition of Grignard's reagent, alkyl magnesium halide. Addition of Grignard's reagent. Alkyl magnesium halide is called as Grignard's reagent. Okay, alkyl magnesium halide is called as what? Grignard's reagent. Addition of Grignard's reagent. So acetone, let us see the reaction here. Acetone reacts with CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Reacts with Grignard's reagent, methyl magnesium bromide. Alkyl magnesium halide is called as Grignard's reagent. So let us see the addition of this to the ketone. So this is CH3, okay, this is a C, this is CH3, isn't it? This is our OMGBr, okay. See, please see carefully. just observe carefully where I am adding the compounds, right? I have added the MgBr to oxygen. And what is left? Methyl group is left, isn't it? Now it will undergo hydrolysis. Okay, it will undergo hydrolysis. So where does the bond split? Let us see. The bond will split here, children. So here it will split. So H here, OH here. So by this, you can understand what is the product you are going to get, isn't it? Yes, you are right. The product is nothing but a tertiary alcohol. What alcohol, Nana? Tertiary alcohol. How many alkyl groups? 3 alkyl groups. 1, 2, 3. 3 alkyl groups and then OH. So we will get tertiary butyl alcohol. What alcohol? Tertiary butyl alcohol. So by this, you might have understood that when ketone, right? When ketones reacts with Grignard's reagent, particularly, what is this? We are dealing with acetone, isn't it? Acetone reacts with Grignard's reagent and forms tertiary butyl alcohol, right? Tertiary butyl alcohol. So in our previous classes, we have learned that formaldehyde, when reacts with Grignard's reagent, what does it form? When formaldehyde reacts with Grignard's reagent, it forms primary alcohols. When acetaldehyde reacts with Grignard's reagent, it forms secondary alcohols, isn't it? Now, when acetone reacts with Grignard's reagent, it forms tertiary alcohol, right? So that's what you have to understand, children, here. That is the addition of Grignard's reagent. So by using Grignard's reagent, I already told you that we can prepare lots of organic compounds. And this is the one example what I have given you, right? Formaldehyde plus Grignard's reagent, primary alcohol. Acetaldehyde plus Grignard's reagent, secondary alcohol. Acetone plus Grignard's reagent, tertiary alcohol. Okay, children, I hope you have understood this, right? So now let us move to the next one, that is addition of alcohols. Addition of alcohols. Now let us see what happens when alcohols are added to the ketones. See, this is the ketone, RCR double bond O, isn't it? Now here I am adding an alcohol. You just identify this. I told you in alcohols topic, this one. It contains 2 OH groups, isn't it? It is a dihydric alcohol. Yes, dihydric. Okay, di means 2, Nana. 2 OH groups, dihydric alcohol. So this is ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol, right? The common name is ethylene glycol and it is a dihydric alcohol. Now, this takes place in the presence of dry HCl and then dilute HCl. Now, what happens, right? So you will get a ketol. What do you get? Ketol. We'll go for another color. Ketol. R, C, again R. Okay. Now this is O. This is a CH2. Okay. This is O. This is CH2. Now, so a bond is present in between these two. Here. See this. Like this. CH2. CH2. So what is this? So this is ethylene glycol ketol. Ethylene, no, this is E, no, ethylene glycol ketol. Ketol. Okay. So this is the addition of alcohols. So we have seen the addition of alcohols. When alcohols are added to ketones, right? What do they give? They give a cyclic compound. Cyclic compound, right? Now let us move to the next one, Nana. So the next reaction. So please, I think you are all copying the reactions, children, right? So please copy the reactions and try to learn them, right? The next one is addition of ammonia. Addition of ammonia. See, our motto is to reach you during this pandemic, okay, to complete the entire syllabus. Almost all, we are at the end of the academic year also, isn't it? So you will have your exams in the month of April or May, and we are making you um, to learn all the topics, right? Addition of ammonia. Acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. So what is acetone? Ketone. Acetone reacts with ammonia, NH3. What does it forms? It forms acetone ammonia, CH3, C, CH3. Okay, so this is OH and this is NH2, right? Acetone ammonia. What is this? Acetone ammonia. And then this acetone ammonia will lose a water molecule minus H2O. Lose a water molecule. And what does it form, children? See, it forms an imine. Imine means a double bond and amino group. And hence it is called as a imine. This is CH3, this is C, and this is a CH3. Okay, then 1 minute. This is our double bond NH. Okay, acetone imine. What is it, Nana? Acetone imine. Imine. Acetone imine. Okay, acetone imine. So this is addition of ammonia. Okay, children. I hope you are able to catch the point, right? So acetone ammonia. Sorry, acetone imine. When acetone reacts with ammonia, it forms acetone imine. What does it forms? Acetone imine, right? So next, let us move to the next reaction. The next one is elimination of water molecules. We have seen the reactions. Reactions involving reactions involving elimination of water molecules. Elimination of water molecules. H2. Elimination of H2. Let us see these reactions. Hope you are following the previous sessions also, because there is a lot of link in between the sessions and the topics, children. Hope you have understood the point here. So acetone reacts with hydroxylamine. So action with hydroxylamine. I will write here. Action with hydroxylamine. This is a hydroxyl group and this is amine, hydroxyl amine. Now, when acetone reacts with hydroxylamine, this is NH2, this is OH. What is eliminated? Again, so this H2O is eliminated. Okay, H2O is eliminated. And what do you get? See, you will get acetone, right? So what do you get? Acetone imine, simple. CH3, CH3, this is a double bond, this is an OH. So you will get ketone oxime, ketoxime. You will say this as acetoxime. Okay, acetoxime. I will write here. Acetoxime. Acetoxime. Okay, yes. Acetoxime, right? See, double bond and OH. When acetone reacts with hydroxylamine, this is a hydroxylamine, it forms acetoxime. Okay, if it is an aldehyde, aldoxime. Simple, very simple. Now let us move to the next reactions. Okay, so then let us see this. Addition of hydrazine. Hydrazine. What is hydrazine? NH2, NH2. I already told you that when a bond is present between two nitrogen atoms, it is called as azo. And as hydrogens are also present, it is called as hydrazine, addition of hydrazine. Okay, so let us see the reaction here. Okay, children, addition of hydrazine. When acetone reacts with acetone reacts with hydrazine. What is hydrazine? NH2, NH2, hydrazine. NH2, NH2. What is eliminated? H2O is eliminated, right? Every day you have to see all the name reactions, right? Okay, children, like in your childhood, you might have learned tables. During those days, the elders might have told you that every day you had to learn the tables in the early morning. Like that, in the early morning, every day you had to see all the name reactions. You had to listen to the names and all, right? What is eliminated? H2O is eliminated. And then you will get this CH3, CH3, double bond, N, NH2, acetone hydrazone. Okay, Nana? Acetone hydrazone. This is hydrazine and the product is hydrazone. Very simple. And what is eliminated? H2O is eliminated, right? This is hydrazone. Now let us move to the next reaction. Okay, addition of phenylhydrazine, phenylhydrazine, phenyl. What is phenyl group? C6H5 dash is called as phenyl group, isn't it? Phenylhydrazine. So C6H5 NH NH2 phenylhydrazine. Okay, so this is the molecular formula and let me write the structural formula. This is the structural formula NH2 phenylhydrazine. Okay, now let us write the equation for the children. So acetone reacts with CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Acetone reacts with phenylhydrazine, NH2, NH. Okay, this is C6H5. C6H5. Okay, so phenylhydrazine, what is eliminated? H2O is eliminated. This H2O is eliminated. Okay, so you will get a compound. So CH3, CH3, C, CH3, double bond, N, NH. Okay, then this is C6H5. Hope you have understood this. So this is acetone phenylhydrazone. Let me write the name of this. Acetone phenylhydrazone. Acetone phenylhydrazone. Okay, Nana? Acetone phenylhydrazone. So please try to understand these reactions, children. Okay. So then now let us move to the remaining reactions. Now we have seen the addition of hydrazine and phenylhydrazine. Now let us see the remaining addition reactions. Now addition of 2,4 dinitro phenylhydrazine, 2,4 dinitro phenylhydrazine, 2,4-DNP. I already told you this reaction in aldehydes also. In these reactions, both the aldehydes and the ketones will respond for a 2,4-DNP. See, they form an orange precipitate, and this test is also called as Borchers test, Borchers reagent, we call it as. So addition of 2,4-dinitro phenylhydrazine. So let us write the equation here. Okay. So then CH3, okay. CH3, C double bond O, CH3, 1 minute, CH3 plus 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. So this is our phenyl group. This is our phenyl group. And then this is 2 position, 2,4-dinitro phenylhydrazine. Understood? This is NH2. Okay. So what is eliminated? H2O is eliminated. H2O is eliminated like this. And what do you get? You will get acetone Okay, CH3, CH3, double bond N, NH. Okay, then this is 2,4 dinitro phenylhydrazone. Acetone, what is the name? Acetone 2,4 DNPH. 2,4 dinitro phenylhydrazone. Acetone 2,4 dinitro phenylhydrazone is called as what is this test called as? This test is known as a Borshas test. Okay, Nana. Now let us see the next one. Addition of semicarbazide. Semicarbazide. Addition of semicarbazide. Now let us see this addition of semicarbazide. What is semicarbazide, children? NH2, NHCO, NH2 is called as a semicarbazide. Now let us see the reaction. Acetone reacts with semicarbazide. Okay, NH2, NHCO, NH2. Okay, what is eliminated? H2O is eliminated again. So you'll get the product. Acetone semicarbazone, CH3C double bond N, NH, CO, NH2 plus H2O. Here also I have forgotten to write water molecule is eliminated, isn't it? Plus H2O, right? So this is the compound what we get when it is treated with semicarbazide. Let us write the name of this acetone semicarbazone. Acetone semicarbazone. Okay, Nana? So in all these reactions, we can observe that water molecule is eliminated, isn't it? So what is eliminated? Water molecule is eliminated. Okay. So see this reaction. The next one is addition of halogen. Okay, halogen and KOH. What is this reaction? Yes, many of you have identified this iodoform reaction, haloform reaction. What are halogens? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine are called as halogens. The 7A group elements, the most electronegative elements in the periodic table, right? So addition of halogen and KOH. Iodoform reaction, right? So let us see the iodoform reaction of ketones. So this is RCOCH3. Okay, it is a ketone. When it is treated with iodine in the presence of potassium hydroxide, what do you get? Okay, so you will get iodoform CHI3 plus potassium harmate. Okay, so potassium acetate, you will get potassium acetate, potassium iodide and water. Potassium iodide and water. So this reaction is called as iodoform reaction. As the compound which is produced here is called as iodoform. What is it? Iodoform. So acetone when treated with iodine, so it is a ketone. We will generally write it as a ketone. When treated with iodine in the presence of KOH, iodoform is obtained, right? So 34 and then this is 3, okay, and this is also 3 again, 3H2. So what is this reaction known as? Iodoform reaction. I told you that, see here, an important point to remember. Okay, so please remember aldehydes and ketones, RCHO, aldehydes, RC double bond OR, ketones, aldehydes and ketones are oxidized, They are oxidized by the hypohalites, This is important for your objective, children. By the hypohalite to the carboxylic acids. to the carboxylic acid, to the carboxylic acid, carboxylic acid with one carbon atom less. Okay, with one carbon less than the parent carbon, less than the parent compound. I will tell you the meaning of this. Okay, Nana, less than the parent compound. See here, if this is CH3COCH3, okay, I will show you. No issues. We will go for the equation. See, this is acetone. Suppose this is acetone. When it is treated with iodine in the presence of KOH, okay, and then what do you get? You will get iodoform, isn't it? CHI3, and then you will get CH3COOK, potassium acetate. Okay, Nana. So what is this? Potassium acetate. I will write again. CH3COOK, potassium acetate, and then potassium iodide and water, isn't it? Plus H2O. So let us balance this. So this is 3, this is 4, and this is 3, and again this is 3. Balanced. Now see here. How many carbons here present? 3 carbons. 1, 2, 3. And how many carbon atoms are present in the potassium acetate? 2 carbons. 1 and 2. Right? So it contains 2 carbons, and then these are the 2 carbons which are present in potassium acetate. And when you see the parent compound, that is acetone, how many carbons are there? 3 carbons are there. So that's why I have written here, aldehydes and ketones are oxidized by the hypohalite to the carboxylic acid with 1 carbon less than the parent compound. With 1 carbon less than the parent compound. Okay, so this is about the iodoform reaction, Nana. Please remember the most important reaction. Okay, so then addition of chlorine, chlorine. What is this called as? Addition of chlorine. Yes, chlorination. What is it called as? Chlorination. Chlorine. So chlorination reaction means addition of chlorine. Now let us see the reaction here. Acetone. Okay, so let us write the equation once. Acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3 plus chlorine. Okay, so in the presence of sunlight, what happens is the hydrogens are replaced by the chlorine atoms. Like this, you will get CCl3, COCH3. Simple. Okay. So the hydrogens are being replaced by the chlorine atoms. So this is our acetone. And now see what happened. The hydrogens are replaced by chlorine atoms, isn't it? So this is trichloroacetone. What is this? Trichloroacetone. Trichloroacetone. Okay, Nana? Trichloroacetone. Now, here also I have to mention an important point to you, children. So write down this. So with bromine in the presence of acetic acid, monohalogenation takes place. Mono means only one hydrogen will be replaced with halogen. Monohalogenation takes place. Understood, Nana? So please remember this. Okay, means then you will get CH2Br COCH3. That also I will write, no issues. CH3COCH3. Mono means how many? 1. If this reaction takes place in the presence of bromine and acetic acid, what do you get, children? So the one hydrogen only will be replaced. Like this, you will get a CH2Br COCH3, monobromoacetone. Understood? This is trichloroacetone and this is a monobromoacetone. Means monohalogenation. What is it? Monohalogenation. Monohalogenation takes place and you will get monobromoacetone. Okay, Nana? So now let us move to the next reaction of this. The next one is addition of PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus pentachloride. Penta means 5, Nana. So acetone reacts with phosphorus pentachloride PCl5 and what does it form? Here also the two chlorines are being replaced with the oxygen atom, right? Like this. So CH3, Cl, oxygen is replaced by how many chlorines? Two chlorines, like the CH3, CH3, Cl2, right? So plus what is eliminated? POCl3 is eliminated, phosphoric chloride. And what is this compound? Yes, propylidene chloride. Propylidene chloride. Propylidene chloride. What type of dihalide, children? It is a JUM dihalide. JUM means when the same carbon atom is carrying two halogens, then it is called as geminal dihalide and we call it as JUM dihalide. So propylidene chloride. What is it? Propylidene chloride. And then let us see the next reaction, children. Oxidation. What is it? Oxidation. Addition of oxygen atoms. Right? So the first one is with the strong oxidizing agents like potassium permanganate, potassium dichromate, and nitric acid. With the strong oxidizing agents like strong oxidizing agents. Here I will list out what are the strong oxidizing agents, Nana. So acidified potassium permanganate. See, acidified. See, I uttered the word acidified, isn't it? And I have written H+. Hope you have understood. And this is potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7. Okay, or HNO3, nitric acid. Now let us see what happens when it is treated with strong oxidizing agents like potassium permanganate, potassium dichromate, and nitric acid. So children, you will get a compound, right? CH3, C double bond O, CH3, okay, undergoing oxidation in the presence of strong oxidizing agents, okay? So it gives carboxylic acid, CH3COOH. You will get acetic acid. What acid? Acetic acid. The common name is acetic acid. The IUPAC name is ethanoic acid. What is it? Ethanoic acid. So you will get ethanoic acid. Okay, children. So here you have to understand one thing, that is when aldehydes and ketones are oxidized in the presence of strong oxidizing agents, they will give carboxylic acids. But aldehydes on oxidation give carboxylic acid containing same number of carbon atoms, whereas ketones on oxidation give carboxylic acid containing less number of carbon atoms. I'll show you the example here itself. See, just now I told you that acetone means ketones on oxidation give carboxylic acid containing less carbons, isn't it? See here how many carbons? 1, 2, 3. 3 carbons. And see here how many carbons it contains? 2 carbons. Means it contains 1 carbon less than the parent compound. This you have to remember. And another point also you have to write down here, that ketones are not oxidized so easily like aldehydes. Please note down this point. Okay, Nana? So all these important points, what I am writing in the form of note, you have to remember, Nana. Okay. So please learn these properties well, children. So ketones are not readily oxidized. Ketones are not readily oxidized like aldehydes. Oxidized like aldehydes. Okay, Nana? Like aldehydes. Now, here you have to remember ketones on oxidation give carboxylic acids. On oxidation give carboxylic acid containing one carbon carboxylic acid with less number of, we can say that with the less number of carbons. Okay, with less number of carbon atoms. Okay, Nana, with less number of carbon atoms. I hope you have understood this reaction, children. And now let us proceed to the next one, that is reduction. Okay, reduction. Now let us see what happens when these ketones are reduced, right? So the first one is with lithium aluminum hydride, LiAlH4, okay, or nickel in the presence of sodium borohydride or aluminium isopropoxide. Aluminium isopropoxide. So my intention is to tell you that these are all the reducing agents. Now let us see what happens. Acetone, when reduced with these reducing agents, okay, so you will get a compound. What is that? So it is nothing but an alcohol. And what alcohol? Is secondary alcohol. What is it? Secondary alcohol. Simple logic, Nana. See, just I am replacing the atoms here and there. Nothing to worry about this. This is acetone and this is isopropyl alcohol. And what is its nature? Its nature is a secondary alcohol. What is it? Secondary. A carbon which is bonded with two alkyl groups. This is one alkyl group and this is another alkyl group. So this is a secondary alcohol, children. What is it? A secondary alcohol. It is a secondary alcohol. Okay, Nana? So when ketones are reduced with lithium aluminum hydride or nickel in the presence of sodium borohydride or aluminum isopropoxide, what do they give? They give secondary alcohols. What alcohols? Secondary alcohols. Okay, Nana? So hope you have understood this. Now let us move to the named reduction reactions. As we have learned in the case of this aldehydes, that is a Clemmensen reduction and Wolff-Kishner reduction. Now let us see what happens when aldehydes and when ketones are reduced with this zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. Okay, so the first one is Clemmensen's reduction. Clemmensen's reduction. Now, what is Clemmensen's reduction? Let us see here. Okay, so Clemmensen's reduction. Acetone, when reduced with zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. Zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. So this is a reduction in the presence of zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. See, what does it give? It gives again an alkane. See, oxygen is eliminated and hydrogens are added. Nothing. So you will get an alkane. CH3, CH2, CH3. Okay, Nana? Right? Plus, what is this? Propane. Propane. As it contains 3 carbons, the product also contains 3 carbons. That's the thing which you have to keep in your mind. See, 3 carbons. Here also 3 carbons. So, on Clemmensen's reduction, acetone gives propane. Okay, in general, we have to understand that they will give alkanes. What do they give? Alkanes. Now, let us see the Wolff-Kishner reduction. Wolff-Kishner reduction. So, in Wolff-Kishner reduction, we use hydrazine, potassium hydroxide, and ethylene glycol, isn't it? Yes. So, let us see the Wolff-Kishner reduction. Acetone on reduction with hydrazine, NH2, NH2. What is eliminated? Water is eliminated. What do you get? You will get acetone hydrazone, CH3 double bond NH2. Okay, and then it is treated with KOH and ethylene glycol. So it is treated with KOH, potassium hydroxide, and then our ethylene glycol, a dihydric alcohol. In the presence of this, what happens is it will give an alkane, CH3, CH2, CH3 plus nitrogen. Again, propane is obtained. This is our propane, that is alkane. So this is our acetone. So this is nothing but the Wolff-Kishner reduction. What is it, Nana? Wolff-Kishner reduction. So these are the named reduction reactions. Clemenson's reduction and Wolff-Kishner reduction. See, by seeing these two reactions, you have to understand that what you have to understand, children. You have to understand that when both aldehydes and ketones undergo reduction with zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl, and with the hydrazine, KOH and ethylene glycol, they give alkanes. What do they give? Alkanes. And it depends upon the number of carbons. See, if you take propanone, that is acetone, you get propane. If you take butanone, you will get butane. So these are the Clemenson's reduction and what is it? Wolff-Kishner reduction. Now, let us see another tone when reduced with hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus. When it is reduced with hydrogen iodide and red phosphorus, what does it give? Again, the same product, children. So, nothing to worry. Again, you will get propane, CH3, CH2, CH3. So, this is our propane. This is acetone. Okay, Nana? So, these are the chemical properties of our aldehydes and ketones, children. And then in my next session, I'm going to deal with the name reactions like aldol condensation, then Kenizaros reaction. Okay, so let me revise the reactions what we have learned today. So today we have learned about the oxidation with selenium dioxide. This is the property of aldehydes when oxidized in the presence of selenium dioxide. So the alpha methylene group is converted into the carbonyl group. So then the product is glyoxal here. Then the next one is oxidation with paracids. Then it is also called as the like Baeyer-Villager oxidation. And here this aldehyde when treated with paracid undergoes oxidation and gives carboxylic acid. And then we have moved to the reduction properties. Reduction means nothing but the addition of hydrogen. When aldehydes are reduced with lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride or aluminum isopropoxide, they give primary alcohols. What do they give? Primary alcohols. Okay. So then after that, we have learned about the named reduction reactions, that is Clemenson's reduction and Wolff-Kishner's reduction. See, what is Clemenson's reduction? Clemenson's reduction is nothing but when aldehydes are reduced with zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl, they give ethane. When reduced with hydrazine in the presence of potassium hydroxide and ethylene glycol, they give ethane, right? What do you mean by these two reactions, children? These reactions will tell us that when aldehydes are reduced with these two reagents, that is zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl, hydrazine and KOH, they give alkanes. That you have to understand. Okay, alkanes, right? And then we have moved to the polymerization, right? So this is a polymerization reaction of aldehydes, children. Aldehydes will undergo polymerization. Okay, polymerization means small molecules, large number of, means more number of simple molecules combined together to form a giant compound, large compound, big compound called as polymer. And this phenomenon is called as polymerization. Acetaldehyde, when undergoes polymerization at 30 degrees centigrade in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, gives paraldehyde. What does it give? Paraldehyde. And when the same acetaldehyde undergo polymerization at 0 degrees centigrade in the presence of the same reagent, that is concentrated sulfuric acid, it gives metaldehyde. What does it give? Metaldehyde. Okay, Nana? So then after that, I have discussed about the chemical properties of ketones, isn't it? So these are all the chemical properties of ketones, what we have learned today. Okay, so chemical properties of ketones. The first one is addition of sodium bisulfite. When acetone reacts with sodium bisulfite, it forms acetone sodium bisulfite. And see, all these are the nucleophilic addition reactions. Okay, so the addition is being done by a nucleophile, a nucleus loving species, an electron rich species. And then addition of HCl, hydrogen cyanide. Acetone reacts with hydrogen cyanide and forms acetone cyanohydrin. Acetone cyanohydrin. Okay, so then after this, we have moved to the addition of Grignard's reagent. So Grignard's reagent is having lot of synthetic applications. Okay, so by this, by using this Grignard's reagent, we can prepare a lot of organic compounds. Okay, alcohols we can prepare, carboxylic acids we can prepare, aldehydes and ketones. So here the case of alcohols. When acetone reacts with Grignard's reagent, it forms tertiary alcohol. What alcohol? Tertiary alcohol. Please keep this in your mind. It's very easy to remember. Formaldehyde plus Grignard's reagent, primary alcohol. Acetaldehyde plus Grignard's reagent, secondary alcohol. Acetone plus Grignard's reagent, tertiary alcohol. Okay, so then this is addition of alcohols. When ketone reacts with a dihydric alcohol, that is ethylene glycol, it forms a cyclic compound, that is ethylene glycol ketol. Okay, so now let us move to the next reaction, children. That is addition of ammonia. What is it? Addition of ammonia. So when this ketones reacts with ammonia, what does they form? So they form, okay, so they form imine, double bond and amino group. So what is it? Imine, right? So then the reactions involving elimination of water molecules. We have seen many reactions, right? When acetone reacts with hydroxylamine, what does it form? It forms oxime. What oxime? This is acetone, isn't it? So we call it as acetoxime. What is it? Acetoxime. So I will write the name here again. So this is hydroxylamine. Hydroxylamine. So the product is acetoxime. This is our acetone. What is it? Acetone. Okay, Nana. So now let us move to the remaining properties. Okay, let's recapitulate quickly. This is addition of hydrazine. What is it? Addition of hydrazine. NH2 is called as hydrazine. So as Acetone reacts with hydrazine and forms acetone hydrazone. Acetone hydrazone. When addition of phenyl hydrazine takes place, it forms acetone phenyl hydrazone. Acetone phenyl hydrazone. Then coming to the addition of 2,4-DNP, 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. Addition of 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. When acetone reacts with 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine, it forms acetone 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazone plus H2O is eliminated. Then the next reaction we have seen is addition of semi-carbazide. Addition of semi-carbazide. Okay, so when semi-carbazide is added here, you will get acetone semi-carbazone. So the simple technique I have showed you, children. So in all these reactions, H2O is eliminated like this. See here, where the cursor is moving, H2O is eliminated. Okay, so here also, please see, this is the H2O, what is eliminated in this reaction also. So this H2O is eliminated like this. So these are the reactions which involves the elimination of H2O. That's why I have given you a subheading like this. So this is the most important one, children, right? So what is this? So this is the iodoform reaction. What reaction? Is it iodoform reaction? Okay, so here I told you that when aldehydes and ketones are oxidized in this reaction by the hypohalite, they give carboxylic acid. But what is the importance of this? So the carbon, the carboxylic acid will have one carbon less than the parent compound. See, what is the parent compound here? The parent compound is the ketone and the aldehyde, isn't it? So in the iodoform reaction, you will get the carboxylic acid which contains one carbon less than the aldehyde and ketone. Okay, so then I have given the example also here. So this is the example what I have mentioned you, children. I will write the names of this. So this is our acetone. Okay, acetone when undergoes iodoform reaction, it forms the iodoform, and this is the potassium acetate. Potassium acetate. Okay, Nana. See the carbons. 3 carbons, 2 carbons. So that is the meaning of the note which I have given to you, children. So then coming to the next one, that is the addition of PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride. What is it? Phosphorus pentachloride. When it reacts with phosphorus pentachloride, what happens, children? So it forms a jump dihalide. What does it form? It forms a jump dihalide. That is the propylidine chloride plus phosphoric chloride. Propylidine chloride and phosphoric chloride. Okay, so then the next one is oxidation. We have seen the oxidation reaction. When it undergoes oxidation with strong oxidizing agents, carboxylic acid is the product. But what is the difference between aldehydes and ketones is, when aldehydes are oxidized, they also give carboxylic acids. But both of them contains same number of carbons there. But here, when ketones undergo oxidation, that is with strong oxidizing agents, they also give carboxylic acids, but containing less number of carbon atoms. And they are not easily oxidized like the aldehydes. So these are all the difference what you have to learn. Okay, and after that we have moved to the reduction reactions, that is Clemenson's reduction and Wolff-Kishner's reduction. In both these reduction reactions, the final products are nothing but, children. See, what are the final products? The final products are alkanes. That you have to remember. Okay. So this is the end of chemical properties of alkanes, children. And in my next session, I'm going to deal with the most important thing, that is the aldol condensation. Okay, so then crossed aldol condensation, and then we are going to deal with the Kenizarose reaction. Okay, so which type of compounds undergoes this aldol condensation, and why do formaldehyde doesn't undergo aldol condensation? It is devoid of which type of atom? About all these things, we are going to learn in our next session, children. So, hope you have understood the properties of aldehydes and ketones, and you are writing down the notes also, children. So, please stay tuned and try to learn these properties, children. Thank you, Shailja ma'am. Shailja ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for a wonderful and beautiful explanation. I have been hearing your lecture with all the presentation. It is indeed very elaborative and self-explanative. If the students follow your lesson, even in the textbook, it is there is just a mention. You have given a beautiful explanation of all the mechanisms and the reagents. I am just viewing the textbook, addition of Grignard's reagents, Tollens reagent, Fehling's test, and you name reactions, whatever you have told. That really it is a beautiful explanation. Children, please, once again, we request you to visit this video, make your own notes, as we always say, make your own notes, and the textbook, this is a energetic supplement for your textbook, the sessions, what madam has told. What oxidation, reduction in detail, madam has covered everything in detail, and she has been repetitive while explaining.
Thank you, ma'am. Why?
So
because
please,
all these topics, they may feel a little bit difficult, no, ma'am. That's why I'm repeating all the basic fundamentals, what they have to remember, like when formaldehyde undergoes oxidation, what does it give, and what is the difference between formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, and acetone.
And the iodoform, the general form you have given, acetone, iodoform, acetate, everything. It is a very clear cut.
Thank you.
Children, please visit this session, make your own notes and practice, as we have been keeping on saying. Whatever the efforts madam is putting in is to make organic chemistry simplified and understandable.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, very kind words, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you for the appreciation given to me, ma'am. Thank you. And I sincerely appreciate your efforts, ma'am. Like you are giving us a lot of time for these sessions and all. I sincerely appreciate you also, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
This is for the benefit of students. Whatever we do is for the benefit of the students. Yes. And we request all the students to make the best utilization of the available resources.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.